Good morning, good day, and good evening to you, wherever it is that you might find yourself at this beautiful moment in time. Welcome to the Wednesday Wanderer, the show where we unravel the beauty of adventure and creativity one story at a time. This episode is brought to you by Anchor. We are also brought to you by Michael B. Isbell Media. At Michael B. Isbell Media, we specialize in online branding and massive campaign content creation for any company or brand to help boost your visibility online. Using the power of content writing, photography, podcasting, and videography to reach your community where they already spend their time and attention. As well as our direct branding and consultation services, we have helped thousands of brands across North America become more efficient and save time and understanding on their creative process by making easy to read and understand digital tools that will walk you through the steps to building out your brand in a massive way off the work you're likely already doing. Shop Michael B. Isbell features a broad variety of merch that you can pick up to show your support for any of the shows under MBIM's network, such as The Wednesday Wanderer, M&M's for Breakfast, or any of my own content with creative designs constantly being added in for purchase. Be sure to use the coupon code TWWSupport on shopmichaelbisbell.com to receive 20% off your entire purchase, whether that be digital or physical products. That's TWW Support on shopmichaelbisbell.com. Anirhudha Agnihotry is a dentist and owner of a nonprofit called the Oral Cancer Organization, running a blog, Based Dentistry with Anir, utilizing his research and observations to spread credible information and studies in his field of dentistry. Working in tandem with the digital age to pursue his passion and grow his ability to aid his community. In this episode, Anir and I talk about my first major boosted board wreck using the word like a million times. I apologize for that. We talk about his love for medicine and how he ended up getting into dentistry. We discuss moving and uprooting your life and how he established his life in the US from India, his passion for being able to put a smile on someone's face and help them when they might not be able to help themselves, how perspective can be shaped by culture and location, and so many other awesome topics. So without further ado, I give you Anirhudha Agnihotry. All right, what is going on, my man? It is good to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Awesome. So I'm not going to even try butchering your name. Can you go ahead and just introduce yourself? Tell me who you are, a little bit about what it is you've got going on.
So I'm Anirhudha Agnihotry.
Yeah, that's such an awesome name. Like I love it. Like cool names like that because like, I know obviously you're from India, so it may not even be like that interesting or like unique of a name from like where you're from, but like, it's so cool whenever you meet somebody that has like such a different name than what you're used to hearing. You know, it's like, my name's Michael. Do you know how many Michaels there are in the world? Like, it's cool though. I like it. I love it.
Thanks. That was kind of you.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I'm a dentist and I do a lot of research. Mostly secondary research. That just makes my dentistry go better.
Yeah.
I run a non-profit as well. It's called Oral Cancer Organization. I run a blog. It's called Based Dentistry with Anir. Anir is my American name. Some Americans find it easier to say Anir.
Right.
Most of them just say A.
Okay, you could have told me that before. You know, I mean, come on.
I just let people try it.
Oh, okay.
I like it when people try it.
Oh, okay.
That shows how interested they are in working with me.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's
okay.
There was this guy that I worked with actually. It was 5 to 6 years ago. 6 years ago. That time I was not in United States.
Yeah.
And I was doing research on a material of his company that his company makes. So we had a couple of chats over Skype and he was not able to say my name and he said that should get change your name or something like that. And I said, it's easy for me because if you're interested in working with me, you'll know my name.
Yeah.
And the next time he knew my name. So I just use that reference and that story to kind of tell people that, it's good to try.
It is. And I did get it earlier before we said
well.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't want to butcher it right off the bat, so that way if people want to look you up, they can actually do that. I didn't want to butcher it from the get-go,
It's a proper noun, so you can say whatever way you want to say it.
Yeah. All right. Well, dude, honestly, I'm super excited to dive into all this stuff you've got going on. But first, I just want to address some crazy stuff that happened today. Because, oh my gosh, I was not walking. I don't walk. I was skating on my boosted board on my way to work this morning. And I get behind these two dudes that are riding their bicycles, right? And they're just going normal speed, but they're in the sidewalk, which first off, you're not supposed to be in the sidewalk. If you're riding a bicycle, you're supposed to be in the bike lane, especially when there is a nice clear bike lane there available for you. But they're both just in the sidewalk going along, and I'm just skating along and just minding my own business. I try to skate, I was going to skate around them, but just as I get right up, probably within the same distance that I am from you or to me right now, but still skating, probably about half speed, which is probably 10 miles an hour or so. Yeah, I know, right? On the boosted board, it goes fast. And they just stop out of nowhere. And they stop and they turn their bikes, they stop and they start fighting with each other. But because I was right there, really close, I slam on the brakes of my boosted board and go flying and hit the pavement and everything. And I hit my head on the concrete and I scraped up my arm really bad. Freaked me out, man. I got up really tough though and just acted like it didn't faze me, and just got back on the board and just left because it was a little sketched out by the fact that they just started fighting in the middle of the sidewalk. But who does that? Have you ever had any experiences walking up on some people fighting?
Yeah, I've had some experiences and it's not pleasant.
Yeah, especially sure. When you're not involved.
When you're not involved and when you cannot maintain that safe distance. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it gets overwhelming and it's not pleasant. So, yeah, you try to run away from that.
Yeah.
I think that's what you try to do.
Yeah, exactly. Right, yeah, I got on my board and I was like, all right, I don't know what's about to happen between these two people, but I'm going to get out of here. And then I got to work and I was and I realized how much pain I was in, and I was like, oh crap, this is going to be a long day. And I got the first aid kit, but we have this really old first aid kit. So it was alcohol swabs. Instead of the ones that you can clean, it's there's you can get alcohol, and then you can get hydro whatever, what I'm talking about. There's the one that doesn't sting as bad, but it still cleans it out. You know what I'm talking about? I can't think of the name of it right off the top of my head, but yeah, they didn't have that. They had alcohol swabs, so I had to literally put alcohol swabs on this fresh cut wound, and oh my god, it hurt. It just thinking about it right now, I'm grimacing, just ugh. It was painful. I'm not gonna lie, it was really painful. I was just trying to be tough because I was at work and everybody around me and everything. I'm just keeping it all inside, but I just wanted to scream. It was so bad. It was nails be scratching my skin. I got a tattoo and this was not anywhere. This was way worse than a tattoo. It was bad. It hurt bad.
Were you bad tattoos?
I'm sorry?
You have had tattoos?
Yeah, no, I have one tattoo. If you're watching the video portion of this episode, you can see that right here. Got a nice lion right on my shoulder. You see? Nice. It's very realistic.
Yeah, that looks pretty.
Yeah, I love it. I got it right when I turned 18. There actually, I think, is a video on my YouTube channel in my archived folder. If you guys are watching, you want to go check that out, you can go do that. But yeah, dude, I love tattoos. I want to get a lot more, actually. it's expensive, and it's addicting too. So it's like, the more that you get, the more that you want to get. And it's like, I want to pace myself. I'm 22, almost 23 in December. So it's like, I have a lot that I want, but it's expensive to get them all at once. So it's like, I'll wait a little bit, I've got like these designs, like these full arm designs that I've like wanted since I was like 16. Oh. So, but I want to buff up first too. Yeah, I want to like start drinking some protein shakes and like working out and doing that whole thing, but waking up early enough to do that is just really difficult. So probably not going to do that as much until I'm working from home full time, which will be soon. Within like the next month or so, I should definitely be doing that. But until that's happening, like I doubt I'm going to be working out in the mornings,
I used to do bodybuilding when I was in my dental school in India. Mm-hmm. And yeah, now I have built some other parts.
Yeah.
But
it's a good thing, though. It's a good thing.
It's good. I'm trying to get back. Today was my first day at the gym again. I'm
okay.
now trying to watch my diet and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And when I used to do it in India, I used to balance it with my studies and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think after that, I started making excuses. So whatever you don't do that you want to have, you're not working enough.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's why I try not to make more excuses now.
Right. Yeah, no, that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. So back in India, you were there for how many years?
23 years.
23 years. So almost my entire life existence, you lived in a different country. That blows my mind. Like, that's awesome. Like, everything that I have experienced up until this point in time, like, as a life, you had spent somewhere else. And that, like, now you've, like, established this whole other life here. Like, you're doing your thing here in America. But tell me a little bit about India. Like, how is it the same? How is it different? Like, what got you into doing dentistry there? Of all places, like what, tell me about it. Like, I want to know, like, I want to understand your perspective.
Yeah. So my father was a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And in India, we are pretty young when we get into the professional courses. Mm-hmm. I was 17 when I started.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And
that's awesome.
There are a few who start at that young age, and most of them get in to the professional colleges by 19 or 20.
Dang.
And what the system we have is we have an exam for each profession. It's a centralized exam, or it's an exam conducted by different schools. It's not like here that you have to have certain courses done, and then you have to have a profile and you're interviewed, and it's not like that. It's pretty straightforward. You score high on that exam, you get in. So I was lucky enough to score well on one of the exams. I gave a lot of exams to get into schools. I myself wanted to, I preferred medicine over dentistry in the beginning, and my father was inclined toward dentistry too, and I think that was the best thing that I followed his advice. I lately fell in love with dentistry.
Yeah.
And
why is that? Like, of all the things that you could be doing, like, I know it's obviously taxing of your time as well, like, to be building it out and doing your thing. So, like, why sacrifice your time for, like,
it's
dentistry?
Very rewarding.
Like, what is it?
It's very rewarding. It's I mean, it's very cliche to say, but you make people smile with confidence, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I had a walk-in patient recently who had bad front teeth, and she said that I have a wedding in 2 weeks, and you fix that, and you just see them smiling and happy.
Yeah.
And more than that, people come in pain. Dental pain is the worst after gunshot. So I had a patient, so I work in a community clinic here. So we cater to a lot of poor people. I was trying not to use that word, trying to find a better way to kind of talk about it. But yeah, people who are not able to afford healthcare to a level that we can. The thing is that they're not aware also of the facilities that they might have
Right.
access to as well, because they are not well educated too. So there is one patient daily who comes in bad toothache, simple stuff. You could have missed a decay. You have never been to a dentist, and you come, you're in your early 20s, you lose teeth, your back teeth, you're not able to chew well, your whole body suffers. It's
That sounds terrifying. That does not. I don't want that to happen. I'm like, oh no, thank you.
I had a patient just a day before who came out of 15 years of sentence, and there was nothing left. I mean, there was like hardly 10 teeth in his mouth.
Wow.
And he's in his 30s. It's it's not.
What is the most, like, in your experience? Obviously, you can't like be specific. You can't like tell specific people's stories. But like, what's the most common reasons that would happen to someone? Like, what are some things that people should avoid to, like, other than just the basics of like don't eat sugar and stuff like a lot before bed, like brush your teeth and go to the dentist and that kind of stuff. Like, for those like more extreme situations, like where you're like that young, losing all of your teeth, like what are the most common reasons why that is like happening?
I think it's pretty much common sense now that we talk so much about sugar and avoiding them and everything. There's more to it. It kind of comes from someone having some sort of stress. If you see these patients, they were so stressful that they did not care brushing or taking the. So there is something going on with them. So you just try to make that less traumatic by helping them with their teeth. And it's more about education too. I mean, most of the people are not educated pretty well, and that's another thing. I mean, on top of that, if we talk about stress, I have a patient who's 100 years old getting a denture from me.
Oh, wow.
She lost her teeth in a car accident 50 years ago. She was she has lived it. She was married.
I bet that sounds
She
awesome.
was married to a Hollywood star. And she took all the big names.
Yeah.
She's met everyone, and
Yeah. I would hope so. I mean, you live for 100 years, you might be better to do just about everything at that point, you know?
And after that, she was married to someone for almost 52 years. I think 52 and something. She told me months as well. She remembers so precisely.
Wow.
And she had a boyfriend after that that she lost to Alzheimer's.
Oh.
And she's been without anyone for last 5 years. She's such a cheerful lady. She dresses like she's dressed like the Queen Elizabeth, right?
Yeah.
And very charming, smiling, laughing all the time. It's just that it's up to you to stay happy.
Yeah.
So many terrible things happened to her. She was in the hospital for so long after that crash. She was hit from behind by a young kid.
Oh, wow.
And she lost all her teeth, had multiple reconstructive surgeries of her face. She's 100.
Yeah.
And it's
100
amazing.
and happy.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That is awesome. I really want to be stoked whenever I'm 100, you know? Like, I want to be able to say that I've done all these things. Like, I don't want to be living like a life of regret, you know?
That's true. That's true.
Like, can you imagine, like, if you never came to America? Like, what was it that made you to make that move? Like, did you come with all of your family, or, like, what was...
So my elder brother was here. And because since he moved, I was interested.
Okay. I mean, I can understand that. How far away is India from here? Like, if you hop on a plane right now, how long does it take?
So a direct flight from San Francisco to New Delhi is 16 hours.
Oh, wow. Okay. I mean, that sucks, but that's not terrible. That's not as long as I thought it would be, honestly. Like, whenever I was a kid, we would drive to see my grandmother and my grandfather up in Missouri, and that was like a 12-hour drive from Georgia, where we lived. Oh. So, it's like 4 more hours, and as tightly compact as a car. I could do that. That's not too far, it's manageable. But that is a long flight, though.
Yeah, and you can't go out, but that's why I don't go often.
Yeah.
But, my mother visits here. My brother was here until last week. Mm-hmm. Now he's in Canada. He's moved and he's very happy.
Oh, wow. Yeah, if I was ever going to move out of the country, I think I would probably go to Canada. It looks so beautiful. Like the Toronto area, like Quebec, freaking Banff, California. That's where I'm at right now, not Canada. Banff, Canada looks amazing. I just want to go there on like a tour, like a tour of the whole country. But I really want to wait and do it whenever this is kind of cheesy, but I want to wait until my channel kind of grows to the point where I have like some connections with other creators in Canada, because I would really love to meet up with you could have the King of California, the best creator in California, and the best creator in Arizona, and the best creator in whatever, but in Canada, right? So the best creator, I don't know what all the provinces are right off, but best creator in Toronto, best creator in Quebec, best creator in whatever, in these big centralized areas, and to meet up with them and have them show me the spots in Canada. I feel like that would be a really cool, massive video project. I'm totally going to do that now. My mind is turning. I'm oh, dang, this is a really good idea. I'm totally going to do this. This is how my ideas come in. I just have conversations with cool people, and then it just kind of snowballs into things.
I know. I agree with that. That happens with me as well. I mean, for example, my first research that I did was bleaching off. There's a material which is tooth colored. It's called composite. Composite resin. It's just a plastic.
Okay.
So they put it on your tooth, and it matches the color of your tooth.
Interesting.
The problem with that is that it stains over time. And we cannot use the bleach that we or the whitening systems that we have, which is mostly hydrogen peroxide. So there's another one which is chlorine dioxide that they use for wood pulp to make paper and bleach it.
Interesting.
There was a bleaching agent available, bleaching product available that used chlorine dioxide, and it does not anymore. They discontinued that. They tried to sell it to some people. They were not able to, but I was lucky to get a hold of it.
Yeah.
So my idea was, why replace the whole filling when you can possibly, bleach it or whiten it? So I wanted to do more research on it, but the resources that I had, I was able to get something published, but it took me 4 years.
Yeah.
To do that, and I started it as a project for 1 month, because I was in. I had free time in my internship. That's the last year of our graduation in India, of the dentistry. So I thought that I would get that done.
Yeah.
It took me 1.5 years, one and a half years to finish the research, because I had to repeat. The one thing that I don't want to compromise on quality. I want to do something real good and standardize everything and do it properly so that we get the answers. I was genuinely curious, and coming back to the conversations with people, that whole thing took so long to happen. But what sparked it was, I was just sitting in my room having a conversation with another person.
Yeah.
And he suggested it.
Mm.
And
Those are the best. Whenever you get like a great idea from someone else, then you look back and you're like, man, that dude was the homie. He's always looking out.
he became a periodontist now in India. He went to a very big school, and we
Nice.
still are in touch. And I'm still grateful. I give him the credit all the time, but
Yeah.
he's a very nice person. He said that he never accepts it, but yeah. So conversations are really good. I've had a lot of cool conversations on the plane, and so many things happen. So I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that's a good idea, and that's a very good thing that you mentioned today.
Yeah. So you said that it was 16 hours from San Francisco. So are you in LA right now? Are you living in LA, or are you just visiting in the LA area?
So I live in Central Valley.
Oh,
I
interesting.
live in the foothills of the Sierra Mountains,
Oh, wow.
besides the farm, and there's only just me.
Oh,
nothing
wow.
else.
I was gonna. That sounds awesome. Honestly,
It's
that sounds
actually
beautiful.
good. There's a lot of parking there.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, that's very true. Very much so not the case here. Parking is hard to come by. Unless you know the good spots. Like whenever you live here, like all the little side streets that you can and can't park on. So all the people that don't live here are very obvious because they just do circles and they're like, can I park here? Is there a sign? I don't know. Am I going to be towed? You never know. So like that's how you can tell if someone's like a local or someone's a visitor. Always doing circles. So you've been here for 6 years. So one of the things I didn't understand when I was reading over your bio is your training not just transfer? Like the fact that you were a full-on dentist in India, you can't just be like, yo, I kind of already know how to do this. Like, what's up? You have to do the whole schooling thing again?
Yeah, it's actually, I consider that a good thing because one of the things that attracts me to US is that they regulate everything pretty well, and they're concerned with the quality, who's getting in and who's not. The process is very tiresome, and it makes you feel very bad about the system.
Right.
But yeah, it does not transfer straight up from your home country, because when it comes to health, it depends on the region also. Like right now, I'm practicing in a region where the standard of care is certain level, and it changes with region to region. So from country to country, it drastically changes how people perceive a dentist. The thing is, it's a culture also amongst patients, and to understand that, it's very important to learn that part.
Yeah.
And it's very hectic, tiresome, tedious to go through the whole process again. The thing is that once you kind of so I did some teaching also in India, and I worked also a little. So once you go through the process, you know what you like and what you don't like.
Right.
So you definitely start picking on what you like, and you start practicing that more. But when you go back to school, you have to even do what you don't like.
Right.
To get into the school, you have to do what you don't like.
Right.
But the thing is that because you like the other stuff so much, that you
So it's
don't mind
worth it for
doing
you.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's you have to give a national boards exam, which the dental students here give. It's a national exam, which you have to give, and then you have to give English proficiency exams. They give you a score. Now they are introducing a couple of more exams that I'm lucky enough not to give them.
Yeah.
After that, you apply to what most of the schools call an advanced standing program, where the regular duration of the school is 3 to 4 years here after you do the Bachelor's of Sciences. So I went to the dental school in India directly from my high school. Here it's 8 years if you look at that.
Yeah.
In India, it's 5 years after the high school. That's why, I was the dentist when I was 22. But here people are 22 it's considered good young if they enter the school.
Yeah. Yeah, like now you would be graduating normal college and entering like into the doctor's program
Yeah.
for the dentistry.
So
I think about that all the time. Like I'm at that age right now where if I would have gone to college, I would be graduating right now. But instead I've built an agency where I get to step away and work remote and like have a 1099 relationship where I get to travel the world and make videos and like talk to cool people. I'm like, whoa, this is so much cooler than going to college.
Yeah, I wish I could have done that.
Yeah.
It's like, I have so much respect for you because, you're doing what you want. You're not following everyone else. I did not have a choice. Not just, I think my father was a very broad-minded and open-minded person who kind of, he tried to push me and he sent me to gymnastics to learn gymnastics. He made me a competitive swimmer when I was a child. He sent me to learn Indian classical music that I kind of picked up a little, then I discontinued because it was not him, it was the environment that I was in. That everyone's so focused and, pushy on studying all the time. That kind of, the wish that I had, that innocence died down over time. So it's pretty awesome that,
I appreciate that. Yeah. On the flip side of that, I have mad respect for the things you're doing as well. Like taking that route and like buckling down and doing the school thing. Like I would not do that. I could do that if I had to, like if my life that I have right now wasn't like possible without going to school. But the reality is that that's not the case. Like I don't want to be a dentist, so I don't need to go to school. Like I'm not in the medical field. I'm not in the law field. So it's like, I'm not trying to be a teacher, so, there's really no point in that. So, yeah, dude, I have mad respect for, like, sticking it out and, like, being able to, like, go through that, especially twice. Like, I can't imagine going through school, becoming a dentist, becoming a teacher of dentistry, and then coming to a different country and then being like, yeah, so you kind of have to start over. So, you got to go to college. Like, dang, that's crazy. Do you at least start out in like the doctor's program? Do you have to do the whole thing?
Pretty much the whole thing.
It's like you're like a freshman right now.
So yeah, what happens is that you get into, so certain parts of the program are accelerated. They are specially designed for you.
Right.
So you. It's kind of, they just throw the ball and you have to Hail Mary and do it.
Yeah.
If you don't do it, you have to do that.
So are you still in school? Are you done with it right now?
I'm done with school. I'm practicing now.
So how long did it take you to finish overall?
So it took me, I would say, it took me almost like 5.5 years to kind of...
So 10.5 years total when you count time in India.
11 years, I would say. The thing is...
Oh my gosh.
It's, 11 years, and I've been a student 8 years in those 11 years of dentistry. Gosh. And I worked the other 2.
Yeah.
Other 2 or 3. I've worked in different capacities. I worked as a research associate at UCLA. It was a lot of work. For 3 to 4 years, I hardly slept. I was sleeping 3 to 4 hours a day. And
wow.
It was always on your mind. You keep working. And everybody does that.
Yeah.
Most of the people, I'm pretty sure, have to work hard. And there's no luck until you work hard. Some people get into the school early, some people get late, but you definitely don't get in college if you give up. So
that's very true.
It's difficult, it's tiresome, but at the same point it's pretty rewarding when you kind of do that treatment and you see that smile.
So you also are doing, you have the oral cancer organization that you have. What is your part in that? And like, what is it kind of that you guys are doing with that whole thing?
So let me tell you a little story.
Okay.
So I was...
Stories are good, especially here in this format.
So in India, as part of our course, we learned general medicine and general surgery.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's not as extensive as a medicine course. It's pretty, less in detail. So they used to make us go to the surgery and medicine wards. Most of the times they used to just show us oral cancer.
Oh, wow.
Because that's related to dentistry.
Yeah.
And we read about oral cancer in pretty much a lot of subjects. I mean, half of the subjects talk about it at some point or the other. And we kind of go back to, doing all that cosmetic work and making money. That's pretty much. So I kind of thought of starting something to give purpose to students, and so that they can start looking at it. We are the first people to look into anyone's mouth, and the mortality or the death that is caused by cancer when it's caught in early stages is far lower than when it's caught later stages.
Right.
So, it kind of started with increasing awareness. We did a lot of awareness camps, screening camps. It's a little dormant for now, the organization, but it's kind of getting revived again.
Yeah.
Because I moved, I had to work so much. I was running that back home also.
Oh, wow.
When I was here, and I had a lot of people who were associated with it who were still very energized. And, once I make a visit back to India, I will definitely do something about it.
Yeah.
And it's... So yeah, that was the basic reason that I started it. And I got connected to a lot of people. I did some research as well on cancer. Because of that, my whole the point of healthcare nowadays is kind of it's getting more. I mean, if you look at it as an industry, it's getting more consumer driven.
Right.
So the patients drive the whole healthcare industry now.
Right.
It's not that I tell you what treatment you're going to get.
Right.
Like, you have
options
to decide.
Yeah.
So I give you all the options. I give you all the information, and then you decide. Now, the only important part is the information. If I can give you the information, that's important. Whatever information I give you, that's in my hand as a provider, as a healthcare provider. So if you go to Google these days, I mean, Dr. Google knows too much and too many things.
Yeah.
So that's why I started my blog too. That's a separate discussion.
And that's
itself.
Evidence Dental, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
So
we'll talk about that in a minute.
We'll get back to that later. But I did a project for my nonprofit as well to kind of make a resource which was evidence-based, which gives everything in simple words to the patients who want that information.
Interesting.
It's I think information is very crucial.
Absolutely.
And the source and how to look at the source and everything is important.
Yeah.
A lot of healthcare providers, sorry to say, but are not referring to the latest evidence.
Yeah.
They themselves don't understand the way it's written most of the time. So it's more about breaking that information to simple 144 characters.
Right.
So that
breaking it down to a tweet.
Yeah, people can basically understand, and you still deliver the message.
Yeah. That's really cool, dude. I really love that whole drive to do something for someone else. That's why I have mad respect for the whole medical industry. The fact that you've gone into dentistry and taken the extended amount of years to come out to the United States and to build it out. I'm curious, why, what was your purpose for coming to the US with your dentistry? Was it just to reach a different audience? You just wanted to live in a different place? why go through another 5.5 years? Like there, you had to have a pretty strong drive to like want to stay here for another 5.5 years and repeat what you just finished.
Yeah, so the course was 2.5 years,
Okay.
but 2 years. But to get into the course, it took me like 3.5 years.
Right.
So I just wanted to make that point. And the drive would be better life for sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to criticize India. India is a great country, but it has its own problem, just like United States has its own problem.
Right.
And with our generation, there was a lot of supply of dentists when we were coming out. There were a lot of dental schools that opened, and there was a need. There's still need, but there was not enough infrastructure to accommodate all of us.
Right.
And it was difficult for me as a person to sustain it. I mean, it's not India; it's just me.
Yeah.
I'll take the blame on that. And my brother was here. That was a big plus. A family, if he wanted to come, I think it's all because of him that I made it possible.
Yeah.
So I will give the whole credit to him.
Yeah.
Is
he your big brother or your little brother?
He's my big brother.
Okay, that's awesome.
He's not that big in years, but he's really big.
Yeah. That's awesome.
He himself has done so much, and it's. I mean, we have a story. The week he landed here, there was an accident. Of my father in India.
Oh wow!
And he had to go back to see him. And he was in ICU. I was in, he was in coma.
Oh wow!
And I was in my second year. I was 18. I was in second year of dentistry in India, and I had to come too. And everything was a fight. It's difficult. He was doing. I mean, he was in a different country. I was still in the same country, and I had all the support. I mean, I had a big brother. I had my mom, who was a very strong lady.
Yeah.
So that was a really difficult time. I mean, you can, so in India we have a system of attendance. You have to have 75% of attendance to give the exams.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
In my dental school, it was at that time, and not all the course directors or department chairs were helpful to me. There was no one understood, I would say, which is actually sad, and that was a fight going on there, but I couldn't even imagine what my brother was going through.
Right.
And after that, he supported me. Yeah. So I mean, I will give the credit to him. I surely had to work a lot, but it was easy because he was there.
Yeah. That's really awesome. That's super inspiring too, honestly. Like, as an older brother myself, like, I want my younger brothers to move out here so much, like, so badly. My baby brother David, he's like 10 years younger than me. He wants to move out here as soon as he graduates. I want my other brother Paul to move out here too, though. I think he would thrive out here because he's doing the whole music thing. He's out in Nashville right now, though. So I mean, he's doing his own thing. Making it work. He's got his own place. Got a girlfriend and everything. They came out here and visited, and it was really nice. I really liked having them out here. Like, if they lived out here, life would be pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Like, that's like the only thing that I'm missing is having my family living close by, because like they're either in Arkansas or Nashville or like Missouri or like Oklahoma. It's like, I really don't want to go to any of those places. It's
I
like,
went to Missouri for an interview.
Oh, really?
For a job interview. Do you know about Cape Girardeau?
Not right off. I can't recall.
No one can tell.
Yeah.
It's 3 hours south of St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, there was no one there.
Yeah. Just one of those like middle of nowhere places. Those are the best. Yeah, man. So you're doing a blog. It's called Evidence Dental, right?
Yeah, that's evidencedental.com.
Evidencedental.com.
So I want to add to it. The thing is that it's going to be patient-centered thing. Mm-hmm. All the information will be for the patients. If
Right.
they want to see anything about dentistry, you can go there and look it up.
Yeah.
And a blog that I write there is Evidence-Based Dentistry with Anir. Mm-hmm. So that is something that I want to kind of start that whole movement with.
Yeah.
So that's what it is, yeah.
All right, awesome. Yeah, dude, honestly, I have some ideas for that thing, that whole like project that you have going on, right? So we kind of talked about this in the street when we were walking over here from the parking lot. But I think you need to dive into social media a little bit with what you've got going on, man. Like, honestly, like you don't see a lot about dentistry out there. This whole like doctors react or lawyers react or like whatever, like this whole like environment of actually getting the medical perspective of these people that like nobody really understands anything about it, like you said, it's an ignorance thing, and it's not because like people are uninformed, it's just because like people aren't talking about it, so it's not out there, it's not available. So what I would highly recommend you do is start making content centralized around your life, like around you being from India and like making videos, and like literally it could just be you talking to the camera and like talking about your experiences and your stories, similar to what we're doing right now, but the thing is you can take the content that you talk about, and that can be what you write about, right, in your blog. So it's like you're kind of double dipping there. You got your video, and then you type it out, make it into the blog, right? And then you can pull frames, still images from your video, and you've got pictures, right? And you can obviously take pictures while you're recording, just like when you're done recording, just pull out your phone and just, you know what I mean? Snap some pictures or whatever. And literally, I have a tool that I created where as long as you get the pictures together, you can post twice a day, every single day for 365 days on every single social platform natively. So Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Tumblr, Reddit, literally like all the big major websites. You post to all of them simultaneously.
Wow, I knew that.
Yeah, it's super amazing. Like, it's very helpful, to be honest, and it saves you so much time and like actually makes it possible to distribute your message. It's like that's one of the biggest barriers, I think, to people getting that information, is like that it doesn't get distributed out to a place where they can see it, Like if someone like yourself was started making YouTube videos, like maybe people would actually know about the dental industry. Like, like me, I don't know, I couldn't tell you anything about it just because no one makes content about it. And that's like where I live basically with my attention because of the scope of what I do. So it's like there's a whole generation of people that are like me as well, that it's like their whole scope of attention, everything that they do is centralized around like Twitter and Instagram and occasionally checking like emails and texts. But for the most part, it's like Twitter and Instagram, and that's it, or YouTube. And it's like if you don't exist on those platforms, then to a lot of people, you don't exist. So if your goal is, as I would assume, especially for like the Oral Cancer Organization and for Evidence Dental, as you begin to grow that blog out and grow that, brand out, I would assume that your goal is to reach as many people as possible. And the best way to do that is to definitely cross-pollinate your content natively on every platform. So take that with a grain of salt, and do whatever you want to do with that. But what I would recommend doing is using like a program like Sendable, where you can schedule your content to like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And then something like IFTTT, if this, then that, to say like, if this posts to Instagram, share to Tumblr. If this posts to Instagram, share to Pinterest. whatever. Like, you can tell it to do whatever you want it to do. So then you can only have to worry about posting to one platform at a time, which is how I do a lot of my stuff. Like, I post to Instagram and then it shares to all the other pages that I don't actively check and share and post to. So it's all about automation, making your life easier. But you have to be on there, because if you're not getting your message out there, then, like I said, to an entire demographic of people, you don't exist.
Yeah, that's my big challenge. It gets overwhelming to deal with all the social media. So I am on all the social media, but I'm not as active.
Right.
And I'm not consistently working on my brand. I just try to... It's a very personal label, all my social media. It's not brand focused.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You can make 13 videos in like a couple of weeks, like with your phone, like just record a couple of like just straight on, like you just talking to the camera videos, record 13 of them, even if it took you a month, and then start releasing them weekly. That's 3 months of content, of consistent weekly content. That's how you build an audience. You put a little bit of front loading in, and you obviously don't have anything to post immediately, like right off the bat. But then you have consistent. And let's say week 7, you don't like any of your videos that you made anymore. So you just go make some more, like with whatever new tactics you have, or like whatever new information that you want to share, or you remake them with like the new things you've learned about making videos or whatever. Like, as you grow your videos. You can always just remake them. But if you don't have the time, or you like them and everything's fine, you just have every single week a video comes out, and you never have to put out that video to your followers that says like, hey guys, thanks for subscribing, but you get nothing this week because I'm busy. So sorry, goodbye. You never have to do that. And then you're consistent. Your followers know that you're going to be consistent, and then they never stop following you. They just become loyal to your brand. So like, basically you become what's called first in mind. So like, an example that I like to use is like shoes, right? So like, what's your favorite kind of shoes?
Yeah, Nike.
So like, Nike is a brand. It has nothing to do with like a store that you would buy them at, right? So like, Nike specifically is not gonna like necessarily get your money from like a Nike store, but you're probably gonna go to some random shoe store and buy Nikes. But like, Nike's first in mind. So like, the place doesn't matter. The other shoe brands don't matter, because you've already got it in mind. You already know, if I want shoes, I'm gonna get Nike. And so you want to be that when it comes to your industry. So the things that you're passionate about, like, with the oral cancer movement that you have going on, with the organization that you've put together, with your own practice, with your, schooling experience, and like all the knowledge and stuff that you've learned over the last 11 years of being educated, like, that's a lot. That's a big story and a lot of information to get out there and spread with the world,
True.
Yeah. So I also noticed whenever I was looking on your website, do you have the social media links on your website? Because I didn't see them on there.
Yeah.
Okay. You definitely should do that, because the Google algorithm, the way that it works is if it's not linked on your website, it doesn't associate your website to the social media. So like, you want to make sure you link it there, so that way back and forth kind of cross-pollinates that linking, which is a little SEO's trick. You definitely want to do that. Because I liked the blog that I read. It was why you should floss, right? Yeah. So what inspired you to write about telling people how to floss?
So what happened was, one of my patients asked that question, and I went back to Google, looked it up, and what I found was that there was a news article about research, and the news article said that there is no evidence that floss works.
Yeah.
So the actual thing was that there's a lot of jargon that these articles use, and the news outlets got it wrong. What actually was quoted is that there is no direct evidence. So they did not directly check flossing with cavities. They checked it with plaque. It was reducing plaque.
Right.
plaque causes cavities.
Right.
So yes, it's indirectly related. What they and this they did mention that there is no direct evidence, there is indirect evidence, and the quality of that evidence was not very high, but there was something about it.
Yeah.
And they said that, oh, flossing doesn't work. Why are we asked to floss? And it spread out just instantaneously, and it was on all major news websites. And later on, it was found out that there was some Associated Press person whose kid was being seen by a dentist, and that dentist did not kind of get that article, and he just said something, and I think he gave him a copy of that or something, and he started working on it, and then that's how it kind of mushroomed out.
Wow.
But then the patient was thinking that she shouldn't floss, which was wrong. So to get that information out and correct it, I kind of wrote it down so that people get the right information. I think I mentioned about the story also in that blog.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the post, and there are a few more things that I'm writing on right now. It's called the charcoal toothpaste. A lot of people
I've heard
are
about
using.
that. Yeah.
So we don't know if it works. So I mean, again, it goes back to how charcoal became an anti what do you call that anti-toxic thing. The thing is that there were two scientists who wanted to prove that it works. So they had a lot of poison, organophosphorus, I guess. And then I think they had like 20 or 10 times above the lethal dose. Lethal dose is the dose that can kill you.
Oh, wow.
And then they had activated charcoal. So charcoal just absorbs. Absorption is that just takes everything on its surface.
Right. Like if a dog were to like swallow something, they would give them a charcoal treatment where they like put the charcoal in them and it like absorbs whatever it was that they ate, and hopefully they pass it.
Exactly. So it doesn't get absorbed in your body.
Yeah.
So now people have started detoxifying with it. So they just eat it, and they don't know that the charcoal doesn't know if it's poison or it's not.
Yeah.
It just absorbs everything, so it's absorbing nutrients. And that's how people started using the charcoal toothpaste. They thought that, it'll take all the toxins away from your teeth.
Right.
Stains away from your teeth. But it has abrasives. The toothpaste that you use also has abrasives. But it has been tested.
Yeah.
It has been made such a way that it does not harm your teeth.
Right.
There's no research done on charcoal. And it's being used so much lately. A lot of people ask me. So when a lot of people ask me a question, I make a blog about it. So it actually started from Quora also. I would give them some credit.
Yeah. I noticed. I was actually going to mention Quora. You had shown that you had like a couple like 1,000 or was it 1 million views or something like that?
Yeah, 1 million
like,
views.
Yeah, like dude, with all of that traffic on Quora, like you've got YouTube content, blog content for days, bro. You just start pulling those posts and start making videos and content out of it, just answering the questions.
Yeah. So most of the questions come there too. Like what I do now, when people ask me questions, I show them that answers. And I've been in an Uber when people were discussing about what I wrote on Quora. Right. But they didn't know that it was me.
That's awesome.
So it was good.
That's a good feeling.
Then there was someone there was a couple of dentists who came to our school. We have this in United States. I went to University of Pacific, Dugoni School of Dentistry. They have this day. It's called the Dugoni Discovery Day, where people from outside come and visit, and they're educated about school. So I was volunteering on that event, and I met a couple of people who mentioned about my Quora, and they said that they follow me and all that. That was pretty cool.
That's awesome, dude. I can't imagine. I can't imagine that because I've had similar experiences, but not obviously like the same with Quora. But whenever somebody recognizes you for the content that you make and like the thing that you're putting out there, it feels so good. It's like, oh man, I'm doing something good. Like it's spreading. People know. Like That's awesome. I bet that's how you probably felt, right? Like, you're like, dude, this information's getting out there. That's so cool. Did you tell them at all, or did you just let them not know the whole time?
Oh yeah, I was not. So the whole point of why I write is that people should talk about it and they should have the right information, and what I think is right.
Yeah.
So that's the point. I didn't want them to sway from that topic.
Right.
Like they're talking about it and they're discussing about it. So yeah, they had good discussions. They knew that I'm a dentist. Mm-hmm. They asked my opinions also.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you got some kind of intuition because, like, your socks, bro, you match my set. So, like, you know, you got that intuition down. You know, you got to be seeing something that other people aren't seeing. You know, you got it.
It's a nice thing to say.
Yeah. So one of the things I wanted to talk about, you mentioned a device that could change the way that you treat glaucoma. You were saying something about that on the phone whenever we had our pre-production call.
Oh yeah, that was just yeah. So I also am right now working on a lot of grants, and unfortunately I cannot talk much about it.
Oh yeah, no worries.
It was someone else's project, and there's this dentist that I've worked a lot with. His name is Chris Ivanoff. He approached me with an NIH grant that he was planning. NIH is National Institute of Health.
Okay.
So I was working with him on that, but unfortunately we cannot go for that grant at this point because he needs to do more work on it. So I kind of this project is on the back burner for now.
Gotcha.
But there are a lot of other things, like there's the dental caries project that I'm kind of working on. Then I'm trying to get I've been associated with UC Berkeley, UC Leeds, the University of Leeds, trying to work as a community outreach at a community outreach hospital in India.
Oh wow.
I'm a director of international internships there, so I send people. I've done that in the past. Trying to do a lot of oral cancer research with them, and then there's this another guy who made a game. That changes the behavior of the children. When we were growing up, we could be smacked, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I shouldn't use that word, but we could be given punishments which are not considered fair today. And,
right.
I think it's right that people are more aware of how to treat children and, so that their behavior is shaped.
Yeah.
And
that the respect isn't lost.
Yeah, because you never know the way you talk or speak or act with a child and what kind of impression that has on his thinking and what it grows when the child grows up.
Right.
So I'm really happy that there's a lot of awareness about that, and people treat their children so well now. But the other side effect of that is that, a lot of if you look at a lot of these cereal boxes, they have the same characters that the child sees on the TV.
Right.
And everything. There's this very interesting person in India. He made a game that actually makes children pick healthy food over, unhealthy food. Like they drink water over soda. They have fruits over fast food. And he calls it digital vaccine. And I am trying to. So he worked with other hospitals, and he was trying to, push it for juvenile diabetes, if you know what juvenile diabetes is, and all that kind of patients. But I think so. Dental caries is an epidemic. It's the most untreated chronic problem.
Oh, wow.
The burden of the disease is that what problems that disease causes in the economy. For example, if you have a toothache, you're not able to go to work for 3 days, you lose the money.
Yeah.
You're not well. You're not spending the money that you could have earned.
Right.
Your company is losing money.
Right.
Everybody is suffering. The most number of absences of a child from a school is because of toothache. So we have to work on it. There are 7.6 billion or 7.7 billion people in the world. 2.3 billion is the number. I think WHO came up in 2013 or something. It could be 2011 or 2013, that have active decay that could, turn into any kind of problem.
That's terrifying.
The thing is that people don't know about this, because actually there are a lot of other things that we should be worried about. I'm not saying it, but we should not overlook this. So if it could be a simple game that a child plays, and you give them access to that game, and the child kind of is eating healthy.
Yeah. Do you have a specific diet that you recommend as a dentist? Like, what do you do with your nutrition? Like, do you just eat kind of whatever you feel like eating at the time, or do you have a plan that you stick to?
So I try. So I don't have processed sugar. I haven't had it for 3 years now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah, and I am trying to cut all the cereals and processed bread and everything. I did that for 5 months, and it was really good. But life happened, and I didn't get it. I mean, it's again an excuse, but I was not consistent with it. Now I'm trying to get back to it.
Gotcha.
So no carbs, keeping low carbs, and saying of that, one of the persons who actually started the whole movement of low carbs, not started, but he was I think biggest catalyst, and I'll take his name, is Zibis Fedorovic. He is one of my mentors who has kind of shaped the way I think and I deliver everything. He's kind of made things happen for me. Yeah. Not directly, but kind of, giving me a perspective and making me more independent in pursuing a lot of things. Right. He doesn't realize that, but I think his support made me work a lot. He kind of groomed me to that level. And
I gotta say, I love your appreciation that you have for the other people in your life. Like, this whole time, every time we go into a story, it always ends up leading into you gratifying someone else. Like, I have mad respect for that mentality, bro. That's cool.
Thanks. Yeah. So Zibis, actually, he's from UK, and I think he should be on your podcast.
Okay. Give him my information. I'm down. Let's do it.
He's in UK right now.
Okay. I mean, hey, I'm not stopping this anytime soon. So
yeah. And I have never met him in person. Okay. We've only talked on Skype. We've published most of my articles. I would say 60 to 70% of my research is with him.
Oh, wow.
And
that's a lot of research.
He is he's 71, close to 71 now.
Dang.
He knows a lot about social media. Yeah. Very active guy. Knows a lot about computer.
That's so cool.
And he is I have never seen anyone more efficient than him. Yeah. Full of energy. He was in South Africa, then he was in Bahrain, and he was one of the guys who was in the shadows of doing those research on the low carb diet. If you see that these days there's a kind of a movement that everyone's...
Dude, totally give him my information. I would love to talk to him at least about being on the show. Like, even if it can't be immediately because he's in the UK, like, as soon as he's available, like, in the States, gotta make that happen, because that sounds awesome. That's like the person I want to be when I'm 71. Like, not in the medical field, but like in life. Yeah, I want to just be happy and living life and traveling and like still doing my craft, still playing music and like making videos, and hopefully I'm like bomb AF at it by that time, you know?
So the good thing about him is that he could have done all that with an established academic person from the Western world, what he did with me. Yeah. So I was just very, very interested to do something, and he gave me that chance. Yeah. And that's one part of what I try to do now, that I kind of groom and encourage people. So the students that I had in India when I was a teacher, I actually applying for dental schools now. They're trying to prepare to come to US.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I'm helping them out, and not just them. A lot of people approach me. They cold message you, cold email you,
right?
LinkedIn, Facebook. They kind of stalk you. They ask you,
right,
how did you do it? I want to do it. They ask for a lot of help. I try to be available and do as much as I can, because
where are you the most active? Like, if someone's listening to this right now and they want to reach out to you, they have some questions, like what would be the best way to reach you?
I think Facebook, because the request kind of pops up on my phone. So Facebook is something that's easy for everyone.
All right.
And so that part actually, I was inspired by Zibis, because
That's such a cool name.
Yeah.
Zibis.
His name is even longer and more. I mean, if you can say his name, if you can spell his name and say his name, then I think you should get a master's in English. And he will roast me for cracking that joke. I think that's another connection that we have. That I have a difficult name and he has a difficult name. So
that's awesome. No, that's a really cool name. It kind of reminds me of Xerxes. Like the old Persian, like from 300. That's awesome.
He is actually the Xerxes and the Leonidas. Together.
Yeah, it's like put them together. And that's his name.
That's his name and personality too.
Yeah, that is so awesome, man. Yeah. So, like, what are you excited about right now? What are your big things that you have going on?
I'm very excited about life in general right now.
Yeah.
The thing is that the biggest challenge that I had is like I moved from SF to middle of nowhere. I didn't know how to drive. I never drove in India.
Oh wow!
I mean, I drove a little bit, but it was not enough.
Are the streets flip flop there? Like, is it like Europe where it's like left side of the road instead of the right side?
Left, yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's left and right.
I feel like I would screw that up if I went to a different country. Like I would have to be getting an Uber or whatever. I don't know. Is it Uber in other countries too?
Yes. Yeah. There is Uber. There
I didn't know. I like sometimes they change the names of the apps depending on like where you're located and all that. But yeah, I would definitely have to get a ride, because I feel like I would accidentally like sway to the right side just out of instinct, and then like another car comes up, it's like, oh crap, I'm in Europe, or I'm in India, or I'm in whatever. Like,
I think I cannot drive in India. I always make this joke about India's traffic.
Yeah.
You know that quote, or that the Bruce Lee said in an interview, that be like water. Just flow through the path of least resistance. That the water flows and it cracks up the rocks and everything. So he said that in that respect, that be that like in your life. And that's what everyone took very seriously in India when they drive. So they don't follow lanes, they just follow the path of least resistance.
Oh my god.
And it gets scary because they get really fast too.
Oh god.
I used to be on a motorbike.
Oh my god.
But the thing is that the traffic is not as fast as it's here.
Yeah.
But in India it's obviously more dangerous.
That's terrifying. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I would be freaking out going down the street in a motorcycle, like with people getting in different lanes all the time. I'd just be like, oh, please don't hit me. Please don't hit me.
Because of that, I'm so cautious here. Even if it's a T and there's a stop sign, I know that person might not stop.
You never know, man. Some
and in
people
India,
are crazy.
for sure, it is not going to stop. So
that's good to know. So would you say that if there's a stereotype about like fresh from India drivers, it would be would that be a thing? Like, do you think that they like are always like that? Like,
I think they will be like that in India, not here, because the stereotypes also come with the stereotype of the country that they went to, right? So they have an image of how things work here, and we think of the West a certain way. The West thinks of us a certain way, and that's one of the stereotypes that we have about US, that everything is so organized.
Yeah, I don't know if everything's that organized.
Truth is
Maybe in comparison
closed.
to other places, you know.
I would say that it's very good.
Yeah.
It's very organized. The process. I think it's about the people. You know, it's the culture.
Yeah. Honestly, it's just the mentality of freedom. Even if that freedom is at the end of the day, like, behind books and books and books and, like, you know, all this information and legal crap and, like, you know, it's always changing and adapting and, like, depending on who's in power, like, there's always a focus on certain things or whatever, you know, but at the end of the day, the freedom that we have to just be able to, like, make our own decisions, you know, whether that be a bad decision like going and sending bombs to CNN. Like, I don't know if you heard about that on the news recently. Like, there literally was a bomb just showed up at, like, CNN. They sent one to Barack Obama. There was, like, a bunch of other people. I don't know who else got one, but they sent, like, all these bombs out to all these people and everything. It was kind of funny, like, it was just a weird situation. Like, I just found out about it on my way, like, out of the office and everything. I was like, that's some crazy stuff, man. I can't imagine working in a news station. Like, you're just trying to spread the news. Like, obviously they have their agendas and everything, but, like, the people that are there, they just have a job. You know what I mean? Like, they're just working the cameras. Like, these people that are just doing their thing, clocking in, like, doing whatever, and then there's a bomb in the building. Like, what? What's going on? Like, that's terrifying.
It is. It's very unfortunate that such thing happened, but I think it's just one person and it does not really.
But, like, what I was saying though is the freedom to be able to, like, as terrible as that is, to be able to just do that, you know, and there's no one watching over your shoulder that is, like, keeping you from being able to do literally anything you want, even to that extreme. That blows your mind a little bit. You know, it's like, to think in other countries, there's, like, literally countries where they're so digitally connected, like in Japan, where, like, things are so digitally connected and so, like, you know, like, they're on top of it with their government. Like, they see everything you do.
Wow.
Like, it's actually this whole controversy with, like, technology that we get from Japan. They were talking about, like, an iPhone, saying that, like, iPhones could be corrupt because they have, like, a little chip from, like, being from Japan. Like, the Japanese government puts the chip in it, basically, to, like, make sure that
I think it was China.
Or Chinese, sorry, yeah. I get the two mixed up all the time.
Sorry.
Yeah. My bad. Yeah.
Sorry, that was funny.
Yeah, my bad. But anyways, wherever it came from.
Yeah, sorry.
Wherever it came from. That they were putting these chips on it to basically, like, track the data and, like, track what the citizens were saying and stuff like that. And, like, when a country starts doing that, it's, you know, you never know what they're listening to at all times, you know. But, like, to be able to have the freedom to do whatever the hell you want to, because somebody's not just listening and heard your whole plan and can, like, be at the door and stops you before you even go buy the stuff.
So I think it's, you know, there are blurred lines.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot. It's a very difficult discussion.
Yeah.
And to be very honest, I don't have any opinion about it. At the same time, I want to feel safe.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't feel like we have privacy anyway, so I don't think it matters.
Yeah, I think we are actually, the change is there that, you know, everything is online.
Dude, the day that they got satellites in the sky that could see through a building.
Oh, really?
Like, that's the day that you lost your privacy, you know? Like,
do they have, I mean,
yeah, I'm pretty sure they have infrared scanners by now. I'm pretty sure that's how they found
infrared scanners?
Saddam Hussein or whoever it was that they killed. Like, that was how they found him. Like, they had a satellite and they found him, like, through a window or something like that. Like, It's crazy, man. They could see, like, through your shit, you know? Like, they could see you from space, from the satellites. Like, that, like, privacy is not a thing anymore, you know?
Yeah,
like, whenever you accept that, though, you're able to live a lot more effectively in this world. Because when you can understand that privacy is not a thing, then you can spend every moment pushing out what you believe in. And when you do that, then you create this, like, bubble around you that kind of, like, coasts you towards your goals, you know?
So with that clever segue, like what are your immediate goals right now? Like what is, everything works out perfect for you in the next couple of years. Like where is it that you're trying to get to with your research, like with your, your practice? Like what is it ultimately that you want to see happen?
So for sure, I want my nonprofit to grow a little bit more.
And what's the name of that again?
Oral Cancer Organization.
Right.
I want Oral Cancer Organization, and the acronym that we use is OCO.
Okay.
To grow more.
OCO.
OCO.
I like it.
So OCO to grow more, and then Evidence Dental kicking off, and then also professionally, I want to get a little more of clinical experience and do more patient-centered research that I'm doing on, trying to work on the dental caries work and oral cancer work. And big thing that I'm working with right now is I did not mention it because there's so much to talk about.
Yeah.
But UC Berkeley Business School is kind of working on a smart village project with India.
Really?
And I might become a part of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's going to be again related to healthcare, and there might be a PhD in process that might start maybe next year, maybe in a couple of years.
Okay.
I'm not sure about it.
Yeah.
It'll be through correspondence with University of Leeds.
Yeah.
I have someone who's interested there, and let's see where that goes. So a lot of things are happening, but my immediate goal right now is kind of to get settled at my home here in Central Valley.
Right.
Which is a challenge to begin with. Now I'm kind of getting hang of it. And yeah, that's what I want to do. I have weekends to work.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what I want to do. And health wise also, I want to get back in my previous shape. I want to get rid of this little thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working on that too.
I feel like that comes with daily regiments, It's really hard to do, but when you live by like a daily regiment, like calendar that you do every single day, even if you carve out time to like be variable time, like if you want to say like, there's this 3-hour section that I can either watch TV, play video games, be with family, have dinner, like I can do any number of these things in this period of time, right?
Yeah, that's
how I set my schedule.
Yeah,
chunks of time.
That's very important, and lately that is what has happened, because the way I work is I work with the drives. Like the thing is that you get that inspiration, the moment of inspiration that you want to do something, and then actually what makes you successful is the consistency or the discipline.
Exactly.
And you might not be always motivated. Motivation is only at that moment.
Exactly.
It's just that making it a habit and working hard towards it, that's what makes the difference. And that is something that I kind of reckon with, and I think I lost touch with, and I'm trying to get back to it. So that's all that I want. I want to train for a triathlon also soon.
That's really cool.
So I want to do all these things.
Dude, I would love to see all of this stuff. Like, I really want you to make video content. Like, I kind of want to challenge you to at least make, like, one video a month.
Yeah, that can
Because, like, dude, you got some cool stuff going on. Like, I recommend that you make at least one video a week, but, like, at least one a month. Because, like, you got some cool stuff going on. You've got a really cool story. Like, you got to get your content out there so that you can spread this message out and, like, really build an audience and a brand around, like, what it is that you're doing, Because, like, the more that you share your message and the more that you open your mouth and share your voice, the more that people can actually be educated and, like, move towards a healthier future, and, like, move towards a future where maybe we can make it more affordable because people are actually researching, the problems. Because I get most people don't know the issues that are there. Like, I didn't know that the degenerative thing that you were talking about, like, I didn't know that was a thing in that many, especially in that many people, but I didn't even really know that was a thing. So, like, that blows my mind that, like, that's such a high statistically, like, percentage. That's a high statistic. That's a big percentage.
So it's like, I don't know. I feel like you have a ton of valuable information, and you have a positive like mentality from like having moved out here from a different country. You've got like this whole drive. You went to school for 11 years when most people would never do that. Most people would move out here and they'd say, nope, got to start school over again. They'd be like, well, I'm out. I already did school. I'm going back to India. You know, like, but instead you stuck it out and you believed in yourself. You believed in your dreams, people around you. Like, that's something we didn't talk about. Who's around you that's building up? Like, so obviously you've got to have a pretty strong team around you to be this firm of a person. So like, who do you have around you? Like, who's supporting you right now?
So my brother supports me with his advice and everything. Then I have a team in India. I mean, everything. So the thing is that last school that I left, I know a few professors there that we kind of work together. They're very supportive, very fast, and we understand each other. Then there's this guy in India. He just graduated from his dental public health residency. He does all these statistics for me. He's my go-to statistician.
Yeah.
And then he also helps me design the studies if I want to design something. And then Zibis is there. And then there are different people for a different thing. And then I had good support from one of my colleagues from dental school. She was 1 year after me in graduating. She's in Colombia now, doing her public health here. But she looked after most of my work. And then there was another one. She also moved here. She was in Seattle doing her dentistry. She also did the same program.
Okay.
She also graduated with me.
Yeah.
So that's great. So yeah, there are these people who kind of, work all the time. And in Manipal, the school that I graduated, I made connection with this gentleman. His name is Sambit Dash. He is another inspiring person. I mean, I think you should have him also on.
Yeah, I'd love to.
He is into everything. He's just finishing his PhD as well. He's a biotech professor. He writes in a lot of those Guardian, HuffPost.
Okay.
He's a very good content creator. He did a certificate in public policy from a good institute in India.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done so much, and he's an amazing guy. I mean, I admire him a lot. I mean, so that was the first thing. There's this guy called Jiddu Krishnamurthy. He was Ojai. Yeah, Ojai. I think that's how they say it. Ojai.
I think I've heard of it.
Yeah, Ojai here has a little place where Jiddu Krishnamurthy used to live. He's a philosopher. He's a very boring philosopher. I mean, he is so slow in his videos and everything. But I got intrigued with the content that he had because I met Sambit Bhaiya. Bhaiya means elder brother. That's what I call him.
Okay.
So he is a very humble guy, very kind, very nice, very well spoken. And he does so much. The thing is that, he was so good that I wanted to know what changed. He also kind of grew up in similar kind of environment as I did. Yeah. But he went to a school that is a Krishnamurti school, which is an alternate school. And if you look it up, like that guy, he is amazing. I mean, Krishnamurti. So I kind of started reading about him, and I think it's not just that, but there's more to Sambit Bhaiya. So yeah, all these people are my team. Yeah, they kind of support me. My school friends. There's something that everyone has to offer, and you kind of make use of that. Yeah, and it takes a long time to build that team. It's very easy to do something once or twice, but it's very difficult to kind of keep getting at it
Absolutely.
maintaining it,
Yeah.
getting even better at it.
I feel that I'm really bad at maintaining relationships. It's like I'm really good at making friends and like building up content and like, you know, while we're together, like we have this awesome connection. But I'm terrible at maintaining like the long-term things.
You know, it's never like that. It's always a two-way thing. It's not your problem.
Right.
It's just that it takes a long time when you kind of stay with someone, work with someone, and it's going to be more work kind of a relationship.
Right.
Where the other person also is as hungry as you are.
Right.
Maybe you are more hungrier than them.
Right.
You're more efficient than them.
Right.
They're not as much interested. So, you know, you might...
That's why I do these podcasts. I get to talk to other people that are as interested in what they do as I am about what I'm interested in. So, what about on the family front? Do you have like family, like any relationships or anything like that?
No, I'm
The only reason why I ask is because I'm really curious, like with the Indian culture. Like I've heard a lot about like Indian culture and like, you know, being married off and that whole thing. Like, is that still a thing? Like,
yeah, that's a thing. It's changing a lot. I have a lot of friends who are hitting 30s and are single.
Is that the number? Is that kind of the number, like 30s?
The actual number is actually mid-20s.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I recently saw this. I think it might have been on a sitcom or something like that, but they were talking about it. Like the girl was freaking out because she was like gonna hit the age and her parents were gonna like force her to like go get married or something like that. And it was like a whole thing. I remember watching it on a show.
On the other side, I have a lot of friends, my female friends, who have actually gotten married and later gotten divorced. The thing is that, you know, so I went to South India to study. I was in North India, so it was away from home.
Yeah.
And a lot of people come away from home. That's what happens. For education, in India, people don't compromise. Parents don't compromise. And they actually pay for your education.
Oh, wow.
They pay for everything.
That's awesome.
So you get to live away from home.
Yeah.
So what happens is you get to live away from home and you don't have to kind of earn. So that's one downside that we don't really appreciate it at that time, that how much they're doing for us. But, you know, as we grow older, we kind of appreciate and, you know, I really appreciate what my father, my mother did for me. I mean, when I was in India, it was amazing. Yeah. Because I see how things are done here and it kind of, that is weird for me. So, coming to marriage part, so what happens is that when you come from a small town and you go to another place for education and you meet people from all over the world, my school had people from all over the world, you kind of change perspectives in seeing things. Your education also changes your perspectives and changes what person you are. Right. But when you go back, your parents were living in that small town. They didn't move up. That's very true. Their mindset is still the same, and you're being nice by letting them make your life decisions. Right. They make your life decisions, and then you try to live with that person, and you kind of realize it's not for me. Yeah. And that has happened to a few friends few people that I know. And that is changing. That's a good change. A lot of people are not getting into it as fast. Do you feel the pressure, like from your family members? It's pretty implicit. It is there. Yeah. I will not deny it. It's implicit. The thing is that they see things differently than I do. And they do appreciate my point of view. And they have surely more experience in experiencing what I'm experiencing at my age. Right. Because they have been to this age before, not at this time. Right. But yeah, they do have a perspective. So I appreciate that and I take their advice. But yeah, there is pressure, yes. Yeah. That's interesting. Well, I think it's about time to go ahead and wrap this up. All right. So, in closing, what are your big things that you want to shout out? So the best places for people to find you. I know you said earlier, Facebook, but like, what are the links? What can people type in to find you online? So, if you can spell my name and Google it, I'm the top 10 on the top 10 pages.
All right.
So anywhere, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. I'm pretty approachable there. Instagram, I'm there as well.
Right.
So yeah, I'm pretty much on all the social media except for Pinterest.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm pretty approachable, available anywhere. You can tweet to me, write to me, message me, Facebook message me. Comes up as a request. Every week I check all the requests. So you will find me. My email also, I think, is public on LinkedIn.
All right.
Yeah, everything is pretty much out there.
That's awesome. So yeah, you can just go ahead and Google Anirhudha, last name Agnihotry, and that is Anirhudha. Is that how you say it?
Anirhudha Agnihotry. Yeah, the other way is...
Anirhudha Agnihotry.
Yeah, that was good.
Okay, yeah, close.
The other way is that you can just type in evidencedental.com.
Yes, that's easier. Evidencedental.com. Or you can search Oral Cancer Organization. So either one of those or any one of those that works for you. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you coming out here, man. It was awesome. Thank you so much for the great conversation. And as always, I will see you guys next week. Bye. If you liked this episode of the podcast, please be sure to subscribe and follow on whatever your listening application of choice may be. That way, you can get notifications every Wednesday when we upload a brand new episode. If you're listening to this via audio podcast format, you can watch the video for this episode on YouTube, DTube, or pretty much any other platform where video can be natively distributed. Please be sure to like, comment, and share to get the conversation rolling and build out this community of like-minded professionals so we can learn from each other and share our stories. Links to all the products I use to make this content are down in the description below, as well as all the links for our fantastic guest and what we talked about in this episode. If you would like to further show your support for the channel, you can find out how you can be a direct supporter on Patreon or Anchor in the description below. Or you can make your way over to shopmichaelbisbell.com and get yourself some awesome new merch from our collection of designs or one of the digital tools to help accelerate your own brand forward. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of The Wednesday Wanderer. I look forward to seeing you back here next week.